Our core aim at OMLA Africa is we want support, the first set of support to come from within the continent. The problems we are faced with, they are local. We know our problem, we understand. So we want to do something that is so unique. We want to reach out to Africans. Let's come together and generate solutions and resources to solve our problem. Okay? We don't want to depend on aid. We don't want to continue to depend on aid to solve our problems. We can put in our best, put in our resources to solve this problem.
Stick Your Neck Out, the weekly podcast of the Giraffe Heroes Foundation.
Welcome to Stick Your Neck Out, the podcast to restore your faith in humanity. Taking into account what my guest today, Lawrence Afere, shared, according to UN projections, the population of Africa is going to increase to around 2.5 billion in 2050. All key sustainability challenges, social as well as environmental, will be on full display in Africa in the decades to come. And the most vulnerable people are likely to suffer the brunt of negative future impacts: food, water, conflicts, climate change impacts, migrant flows, etc. At the same time, Africa has the youngest population of any continent on Earth, with an amazing amount of entrepreneurial energy and hope for the future. If you had the chance to listen to our podcast in the past month, you listened to a lot of stories of people who are the living example. Nigeria has become an attractive country for entrepreneurship in Africa. Now, with 1 million African leaders, or OMLA, Lawrence Afere and his team hope to make a lasting impact on the continental entrepreneurial landscape. Welcome, Lawrence, to our podcast.
Thank you, Yampia. Happy to be here.
You are a really busy man. It was really difficult to have a chance to meet. Why is that? You are doing a lot.
I can't say I'm doing a lot. I'm just being passionate about what I'm doing, and that really gets me busy. You know, every day of my life, I look at the future of Nigeria, the future of Africa, and I'm really worried and bothered. And then I think I have the opportunity to be part of young people who can actually take this continent to greater heights and build a new Africa. So that's why I get myself busy and involved with activities that will get this continent to a sustainable path.
Why did you create the OMLA program?
OMLA, the meaning of OMLA is 1 million leaders Africa. I'm fortunate to be part of those who initiated it, even though I'm one of the founding members, but I'm the one who is really pushing OMLA. The reason is because if you look at Africa, where we are today, the challenges are clear, they are obvious. So if you look at this dynamics, you understand that there is a big problem that is coming. There is an imminent problem. You look at unemployment, the rate of unemployment now, millions and millions of young Africans are unemployed. And so you now look into the future and you look at the key sustainability challenges. And so you look, where would the food come from? The food to feed the 2.5 billion people by 2050. Who is going to create this food? Who's going to produce this food? What about housing? Where will these people live? Okay, what about water? Where would they get water from? So you look at climate change impact, you look at migrant flow. So these are the things that I feel all of us should be concerned about. So because there is no other continent that will absorb 2.5 billion people by 2050 if anything goes wrong with this continent. Is it America that's going to take us? Is it Asia that's going to take us? They have their own challenges as well, but our challenges here are so enormous. And so we have to do something about this. So that's why we created OMLA. And at the same time, you look at the youngest population of any continent on earth is youth. So you look at Africa, more than 50% of us, they are young people who have this entrepreneurial energy. So that's why we created OMLA, a program that intends to harness the positive energy of its youth and help train a whole new generation of leaders across this continent who will help to put the continent on more sustainable course. So we are looking at raising young people who will help take all these fundamental challenges that we have looked at and then begin to tackle them, begin to create sustainable solution, innovative solution to all these problems. So that's what OMLA is looking at. So by 2030, we want to see if we are able to bring 1 million young leaders together and then inspire them, empower them, and connect them to create a lasting solution. So we are not saying that by 2030, Africa is going to be without problems. or all these challenges will go. No, it's not possible. So what we are saying is by 2030, let us, at least for the first time, know the direction that Africa is going. You understand? So by 2030, we know that we can't depend on aid. We can't continue to depend on World Bank, IMF. We can depend on ourselves. The problems are here, they are local. So we understand what the problems are. We should also understand the solution that will help us solve this problem. So by 2030, we would have a platform where we know that we are now moving on a sustainable path. So that's what we are looking at.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And who is the ideal OMLA participant?
So we are looking at young Africans who have the desire and the motivation, and they have this burning desire in them. Like they are not comfortable where Africa is now. And so these are the young people we are looking at coming on board as members and as partners and as trainees. These are young people who want to take the destiny of Africa in their hands. So we are looking at young people who have the motivation, who have the burning desire, and who need the skill and the tool to want to make a new Africa happen.
Yeah, sounds beautiful. In the Kantari Corona blog, I've read about what you shared regarding OMLA, that what will make a significant difference in the OMLA model is the alumni network. How is that?
So with the alumni, what we are looking at, by the time we have trained 1 million young leaders, these are passionate youth. So we are going to put them we're not just going to train them and then, okay, you guys can go back to your country and begin to make change. No, alumni is very powerful. Okay, so we still want them to be connected. Okay, we need a force. Okay, with the change we are going to make on the continent, it's not going to be done by one person. So we need a critical mass of like-minded young people. So that's why we are creating the alumni. So by the time you have gone through the OMLA training program, you now join the alumni program. With the alumni, you can access more opportunities, and then you can get more inspiration from your colleagues, so that you can be more empowered to do what you're supposed to do on the continent. So the alumni offers more opportunities outside the OMLA training. So when you become an alumni of OMLA, you can access bigger opportunity. You can get scholarship to do further research. You can get grants. You can also, but the biggest resource of the alumni is the members of the alumni, not just the other resources that come.
Okay, I understand. According to the name of this program, you are planning to raise 1 million African leaders in 10 years.
Yeah.
So we already talked about that. You just described it before. Could you go a bit more into detail? How exactly are you going to do that?
Thank you very much. It's a very good question. So with the OMLA model, we have some terminologies that we are going to use. The first one is the fellow, the second one is the star, and then the third one is the starlet. The fellows are going to become the trainers, the OMLA trainers. Okay? So we train, for example, by this year, we will recruit 60 fellows across Africa. And then they will go through a 2-week boot camp where we're going to train them using the OMLA curriculum, which is a local designed curriculum. So they're going to go through that curriculum. So 60 of them, by the time they graduate from the boot camp, they now go to their respective countries and begin to train other people, other young people. You can find these young people in tertiary institutions, in religious centers, within the communities. So these people that the fellows will train, they are called the stars. Okay, so the stars, after going through the training with the fellows, the stars will now go back to their respective communities. These are the grassroots people. Okay, they will now go back to their respective communities and train other young people in secondary schools, primary schools, and then in homes. And these people that the stars will train are called the starlets. Okay, so the starlets, that's a kind of a chain reaction from the fellows to the stars, from the stars to the starlets. So with our analysis, in the first year, we're going to have around 400,000 people trained. Even before 10 years, we're going to reach our target of 1 million young people. So we'll now spend the remaining years developing a vibrant alumni.
Okay, so I mean, you are talking all the time about young African people from Africa. So you are concentrating yourself just in Africa. You don't have any help from the outside, from other countries or other continents?
OMLA is part of a global movement called 1 Million Leader Initiative. So we also have the OMLA term, 1 million leader initiative in Latin America. We have one for Asia. Okay, so it's a global thing, but for Africa, we are the one in charge. OMLA was actually initiated by an organization called Nellis, which I'm part of, the core team in Japan. So we decided that let's take each continent and help to solve their critical problems. So for Africa, we are looking at 1 million young people who will help to solve our problems by 2030. So we have for other continents. And then we have partners, of course, from outside Africa. But our core aim at OMLA Africa is we want support, the first set of support to come from within the continent.
Yeah.
Okay. The problems we are faced with, they are local. We know our problem, we understand. So we want to do something that is so unique. We want to reach out to Africans. Let's come together and generate solutions and resources to solve our problem. Okay? We don't want to depend on aid. We don't want to continue to depend on aid to solve our problems. We can put in our best, put in our resources to solve this problem. So that's what we are looking at. So in the next 2 months, we're currently planning to do a major virtual African diaspora conference. And it's the first time that this will happen, bringing organizations and communities in 6 continents together in one room, virtual room. Okay, we're looking at about 1,000 African diasporas to discuss OMLA and to seek support, okay, from this association and African diaspora so that they can support and partner with OMLA to carry out, to successfully implement its activities and plans.
Yeah, and I wish you really all the best.
Thank you.
Such a big program surely has a lot of challenges to face.
Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges you have encountered or fear to encounter? And most importantly, how are you going to overcome them?
Of course, the first challenge will be young Africans seeing OMLA as an opportunity to enrich themselves, not to empower themselves. Okay, so by the time we roll out the application for the first fellows, the challenge will be applicants who have opportunity for internet, who have opportunity to hear about OMLA, may not be the right set of people we're looking for. But those who are really passionate about Africa's development, they may be at the grassroots level and do not have access to internet. They do not have access to social media, and so they are left out of hearing or getting the information about our application. So that's one challenge that we are looking at, because we need the right applicants, and that's very important. So that's going to be a challenge. So we are looking at ways that we can help deal with that, because once we get it right at that level, I think the change we are looking for will be very easy to achieve. And then another challenge is, would Africans be ready to contribute to a Pan-African project, apart from donations coming from outside the continent? You understand? So we came up with an idea to have boosters, OMLA boosters. These are the first set of supporters within the continent. So we're looking for 100,000 boosters. These are people who donate between $1 and $10, okay, for OMLA, because we want it to be an African thing. This is our own thing. We donated to it. The resources and the funding did not come from outside Africa. That was our idea. And so I think in the last 2 months, we've only been able to raise about $1,500 from our OMLA booster. So, and we are looking at raising $400,000. Okay, so the challenge is, would Africans want to create a better Africa by donating to a project that means business? Okay, so it means we have to push, we have to sensitize, we have to create further awareness, and that's why we are reaching out to the African diaspora, to the African diaspora conference that we are proposing. So that's challenge number 2. Then by the time we have the monitoring and evaluation is going to be huge. You have 1 million young people as members. Okay, so how do you monitor the activities? Okay, that's why we have to do constant review, and then very important. So that's monitoring and evaluating our effectiveness, our impact is very, very important. So those are some of the challenges that we are faced with.
Yeah. Talking about challenge number 1, what leadership skills do you think people should have to enter and succeed in the OMLA program?
The number one thing is passion. Are you just like Kantari would say, do you have a pinching point, okay, to want to make a change happen? That's very important. Initially, we were looking at, okay, you are a graduate, and then you are jobless, And but we realized that even graduates may not be the ones to make change happen. Okay, it may be young people who have never even had access to education, and that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we are looking at is the one thing we are looking at is passion. You have that burning fire in you, and what have you been doing in your own local community, in your own, maybe you have how have you been able to impact one life? What project? It doesn't have to be a big project. Maybe you've organized young people in your community to sweep, maybe the road is dirty, okay, and then you have organized some young people to sweep the road, or maybe your local mosque or your local church, you have been able to create some awareness on their thinking pattern. So what little thing have you done that qualifies you to be a leader? So we are looking for people who have this burning desire in them, and they are taking some steps, some initial steps, but they want to do it bigger, and they want tools to want to do bigger things. So for example, like me, before I gained admission to Kantari, I started the youth farm project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I had this small track record. And so when Kantari found out about me, they knew that, wow, this guy has done something to done little, okay, to actually address the situation he was hoping to address. So by the time I got to Kantari and I got the tools that I needed, I was able to scale my work to this level that it is today.
Lawrence, that sounds like a really nice path. Just to be passionate, it's really important. I have another question. Why are you so sure that OMLA is the future of Africa?
That's a very good question. Well, I think OMLA is the future of Africa because the future of Africa lies in the hands of its youth. Okay, the average African politician is between 60 and 70 years. Okay, and then uh, I don't know what they have to offer. I know they can guide us, but the role that they should be playing at this level is to guide young Africans, not to take those leadership positions, but to put young people in those leadership positions and sit back and guide us. So, but we don't have that. Nobody's guiding us. So it's high time African youth began to guide themselves through the skills that are available and opportunities that are available. So I'm sure that OMLA is the future of Africa because the youth are the ones that will transform this continent. We have the energy, we have the passion, the skills. We can easily get the skills. The internet is at our disposal. And so with this, the young people, I believe, will take this great continent to a great height.
In August 2019, you had your first spiritual summit with over 200 young leaders from Africa.
Yeah,
How was it?
yeah.
What did you achieve after this summit?
Wow, it was a big success, and then that was the first summit OMLA did, and in fact, it was a 2 or 3 days event, and which culminated into the launch of OMLA. We had over 200 participants from across, I think about from over 30 African countries, and we had other Western countries on board as well. I think about 4 countries from Europe, and so the whole idea was to sell the idea of OMLA to young Africans. Okay.
Mm.
And we had over 600 participants who registered for the event, and over 200 attended. I think more people would have attended if not because of internet connectivity problem. So it was a big success. At the end of the event, we came up with an agenda for Africa, the Africa we want to see by 2030. And so we first discussed what are the challenges we are facing, okay, what are the initiatives that have been carried out to solve these challenges, and what will OMLA do. And so we came up with African Vision Map for 2030. It's a beautiful one, okay.
Yeah, can you tell a bit more about that?
So what we're looking at is what kind of Africa are we going to see by 2030, and who are the people that will make this happen. So we are looking at Africa that is sustainable, that is prosperous, Africa that is beautiful, that have good leadership, okay, good governance, and then Africa that is run by young Africans, dynamic young Africans. Okay, so and then Africa that trades with itself. So these are the kind of vision that we were able to initiate within the African Vision Map. And this is the first time on the continent that actually young people who were not sponsored by any major organization, young Africans who were not sponsored by a major institute, who first time came together to initiate a vision, a local vision, okay, and a vision that they can own and they can run with. This is not an African vision map that was initiated by World Bank or IMF or by United Nations or any other group. It was done by grassroots young Africans. And you can believe that if these young people can come together to say enough is enough, we want to take our destiny in our hands, you can be assured that they will do everything possible to want to push this vision to reality.
Yeah, I'm sure. The beautiful thing of this idea is exactly that what you pointed out, that African trying to do a better Africa is not somebody from the outside. So you're coming from what you experience, and that's what makes this whole idea really beautiful. Lawrence, like I said, I really hope that it works, and I will try to spread the idea as much as I can. You are a Mandela Washington Fellow, and you have been an Ashoka Fellow since 2015. You are also the founder of Springboard, a network of cocoa, plantain, and rice smallholder farmers in Nigeria. What is Springboard exactly about?
All right, thank you, Yampia. Springboard is a network of, or rather, is a cooperative of sustainable farmers in Nigeria. Right now, we have close to 3,500 farmers within our network. So our farmers grow cacao, plantain, and then we have diversification crops, rice, beans, corn for these farmers. So the main goal of Springboard is to actually help farmers to improve scale and quality of their product and help them to increase profit, and of course also give a voice to these farmers. So that's what we're doing. And since 2008, we've been working. Currently, we are working with about 3,500 farmers in 23 communities in Nigeria. And so our main vision is to see in Nigeria that has small scale farmers who are prosperous and can make sustainable and comfortable living. And so we empower these farmers through a cooperative movement that helps them to capture most of the value chain, and then that also helps them to grow much more organic food, sell more, and then sell for more.
Nice. Speaking of sustainability, you have created a sustainable method to feed Nigeria's increasing population with farm crops that do not rely on toxic chemicals, pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, genetically modified seeds, or practices that degrade soil, water, or other natural resources. How does this method work?
Well, it actually works, but it takes a lot of energy and resources. So what we are trying to achieve here is we want to go back to the roots, to the root of agriculture, to the African roots of agriculture on the continent and in Nigeria. In those years, our forefathers, they will grow their food without any form of pesticide.
Yeah.
And they were very healthy and they lived very long. They would always become very old before they pass away. But now people don't no longer live long, okay, because we take so much poison into our system, into our body, okay, due to the food that we eat. And then apart from that, we're also destroying the ecosystem with the use of pesticides and then chemicals and all these toxic materials. So we are destroying the ecosystem. The climate has really changed now, and this is because of the inappropriate farming practices of millions of farmers across the continent and across the world. So Springboard wanted to do something that is unique. We are not happy with the way our nature is turning its back on us. We're not happy with the way nature is being treated all over the world. And farmers have huge responsibility to play in helping to build good climate and good weather conditions. So that's why we said, let's Springboard be part of this new movement of a new generation farmers who are going to help to restructure food production in the world and on the continent. So we decided that we're going to train farmers on the use of natural or agroforestry practices, okay, and then reduction and then eventually a full stop in the use of pesticide and then inorganic materials. So that's what we're doing, and we're happy that it's working, though it's not easy, especially here in Nigeria. People are not educated about organic food, and so if you tell them you are selling organic food, they will ask you, what is the benefit for me if you are selling organic food and it's more expensive than the one that is inorganic? And you can't even tell the difference, okay? Because if you bring organic food, it's maybe organic orange, for example, it may look smaller than inorganic. Inorganic might be bigger fruit, and organic might be smaller. You use all these chemical fertilizer to grow inorganic food, and then they become very robust and fat. And so people tell you, I want the big one, I want the big banana, that is so fat. I want the big chicken. And you don't know the chicken has been fed with poison. So inorganic chicken is natural. Okay, so growth should be natural. That's the way we see it in agriculture. It should be natural. Okay, so that's what we are doing at Springboard, ensuring that we serve the market with healthy, highly nutritious, healthy food products, and then we safeguard the environment, help our farmers, give them education, help empower them so that they can be part of rebuilding the ecosystem and making it sustainable for everybody.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Lawrence, dear listeners, Lawrence is reversing the trend of indiscriminate use of chemicals to grow food crops for human consumption by demonstrating alternative and healthier ways of agriculture. So, Lawrence, if I am a farmer in Nigeria, what should I do to become a more, let's say, sustainable farmer? What are my options?
So, if you were a farmer in Nigeria, I would just ask you to join Springboard Cooperative. So, with Springboard Cooperative, so what we do is it's beyond training you to grow organic food or food in a sustainable manner. We also help you to become prosperous. Okay, the average farmer in Nigeria earns between $300 and $500 annually, and that's ridiculous. That is like real poverty. Okay, so we help our farmers to get to the level of $1,500 annually. That's our goal, so that you can take care of your children, you can scale your farm or expand your farm business, and then you can take care of your health as well. So our cooperative recruit and develop farmers according to a term that we call disempowered to empowered model, the D2E model that we have initiated. So farmer groups, you join our cooperative, and then we look for farmers who are disempowered. And if you look at small scale farmers, almost all of them are disempowered. So they join our cooperative, and then within their community, at their community level, they join the farmer groups. They are usually between 25 to 35 farmers. And then after we have recruited you, you go for training. We train you at the community level. We use the farmer to farmer model training method. So we train you in best practices, organic farming, and management of cooperatives. And then you move up, we give you further support, certification, pre-financing. We help you get insurance. You have access to our extension officers, and then you can reach us at any time on our phone lines if you have problem of a farm. And then we also buy back all the farmers' produce. Okay, our main crops are plantain and cacao. So the cacao, the plantain, we buy everything. All the plantain our farmers grow. The plantain is the big banana in Nigeria. So we add value to the plantain. We turn to plantain chips that is widely distributed in Nigeria and in other countries on the continent. And so we buy back 100% quality produce at fair price. So we give fair price to our farmers. And then with the cacao, we uptake as well. And then we supply to major exporters who can guarantee premium price for our farmers. So with this, our farmers are able to make significant margin and also receive fair trade premiums. So we also go further to give one voice to our farmers. Farmers are very important in any community, in any nation. In fact, farmers home, without farmers, there is no nation, there is no community. Okay, so farmers are very important, but unfortunately, they lack voice because they are not organized as business partners. So we have with the cooperative, we are organizing all these farmers within systems, and so that they can have a voice. They can also have a voice at the policy level. Okay, when it's very unfortunate when politicians are making policies that affect farmers, farmers are not carried along. Farmers are not even there. Okay, so you stay at the parliament and then you make policies, you enact policies that affect the lives of farmers without their own contribution. So we want farmers to get to that level where any policy that has to be made about agriculture, farmers must have their own input. So, but if farmers are not organized as business partners, if they are scattered, they don't have that voice. But when they operate together as cooperatives and they can have one voice, government can respect them, and then any group, any international organization can also respect them because they have a say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really important to have the chance to be part of the decision making is really important. It is also known that in the countryside you find a so-called rural urban drift. I mean, we're talking about rural urban migration, the movement of people from the countryside to the city.
Yeah.
How does Springboard deal with it?
That's a very good question. Yeah. If you look at currently in Nigeria, there was a report that was released, I think, 4 years ago, that almost 1,000 rural youths migrate to the major cities every day alone. Every day. okay, in search of economic opportunities outside farming. And it's quite unfortunate. And now, with the impact of COVID, a lot of people are also running back from the cities back to the rural communities. So I think that's also because the cities are on lockdown and there are no jobs. People are looking for jobs, and then they feel maybe they can find solace when they go back to the rural communities. But migration has been a big thing, especially young people moving from the rural communities to the city to search for economic opportunities. And when they get to those cities, there are no jobs. Okay, and these young people eventually end up in maybe underemployment or criminal activities. And the main reason why these young people leave rural communities is not because there are no schools, but because they want economic opportunity, but they don't see economic opportunities in farming, because the way farming has been run, especially in Nigeria since the 60s, agriculture used to be the mainstay thing in our economy. But from the 60s, it has been neglected in Nigeria since we discover oil. So if I give you some case studies, we used to have what we called Kano groundnut pyramids in those days,
Hmm.
in the 60s. Nigeria used to be the largest exporter of shelled groundnut with 47 global market share. So we're doing over 500,000 tons in the 1960s of groundnut. We're exporting good groundnut. Okay, but if you look at today, Nigeria has zero groundnut export
That's harsh.
from the 80s. Yes, and then if you look at cacao as well, we used to be the world's second largest producer. We were providing 80%, about 450,000 tons every year to global market. Today, Nigeria is now sixth position. We have not, you understand, sixth position. So from about 500,000 tons, we dropped to about 200,000 tons because we discovered oil and government neglected oil. Tomato, Nigeria used to contribute 65% of Africa's tomato. Today, Nigeria is the largest importer of tomato paste in the world. You can imagine that we used to produce 65% of tomatoes in the 60s in Africa. Palm oil, we used to have about 43% global share in the market.
Yeah.
Today, we contribute about 2.9% share. You can imagine the difference. And Nigeria currently spends more than $5 million every day for rice importation. So agriculture, because government discovered oil, agriculture stopped being a priority for the Nigerian government. Productivity stalled, political accountability was very low, and then because decades of neglect created an obsolete kind of obsolete farming system, and then oil profits are not invested in the agri sector. So everybody was now running to take part in the national cake sharing. So young people in rural communities no longer see agriculture as sexy or viable or cool career path for them. So that is the main reason why a lot of young people prefer to migrate to the cities, so that they can, of course, take part in further economic opportunities there.
Yeah, I understand. Lawrence, one day you decided to gain knowledge on effective organic farming and help Nigerians adopt this new method. Why was for you so important to change to organic farming in Nigeria? What happened?
Every day I will see on newspaper and then on TV, people are dying of cancer and then terminal diseases. And I was wondering, my parents would tell me this kind of illnesses and diseases were not here when their fathers were here. Okay, they never heard about cancer until recently. They never heard of all this leukemia and all these big terminal diseases. Okay, so I read a report that says it's due to the food that we are consuming. They are full of toxics and pesticides and herbicides in our system. So I felt that, of course, if the food we are eating gives health to us, and so the kind of food that you eat really matters a lot. So that's why I felt going organic will help Nigerians to be healthy. Nigerians are hardworking people. They need to be healthy. Nigerians need to live long. They need to take care of their kids and children. They need to help build a new economy, help to build a vibrant nation. And so that's why food is a major item in helping us to live healthy and to live long. So Nigerians deserve the best food. That's why giving them organic food means a lot for us and for Nigerians.
Yeah, I see. Springboard also established the Farm to School Africa initiative. I think I know this concept from Cuba because there was a time where we had to go to the farm school and spend at least 3 years combining agricultural work with studies to do it like in a pretty young age. What makes farm schools so important?
So farm to school is not a local idea; it's an international idea that we brought to Nigeria. So the idea is to work with high schools and secondary schools to build school farms, organic school farms, where children can learn healthy food production, okay, how to produce healthy food, organic food, and then, but mainly we want them to begin to develop interest in agriculture so that they can take that as career and help to keep that interest for as many years as possible. A report was done across our tertiary institutions in Nigeria. They wanted to know how many undergraduates actually chose to study agriculture. Okay, and then so we discovered that more than 80% of them did not choose to study agriculture. They were being forced, okay, to study agriculture. So people are not studying agriculture at the tertiary institutions because they have passion for it or because they want to develop career in that field. No, they are studying it because they were forced. That's like a last resort for them. They didn't give them, maybe they wanted to study medicine or law or biochemistry or anything. They didn't meet the cutoff mark, and then they asked them to go and study agriculture. So agriculture, in tertiary institution, it's like a last resort for students who are not brilliant, and it should not be so.
Yeah.
So we felt that okay, we can help to begin to build interest in young people from secondary school, that's from high school, so that before they get to the level of deciding to choose a career for themselves, they can have that interest in agriculture. And so we are promoting innovative agriculture to them. And then, of course, it's been very successful. More than 80% of our students come back to tell us that I would like to study agriculture.
Oh, that's
And then they
nice.
tell us new things that we've not heard, that, okay, is there a way we can begin to look at agriculture as green energy and all of that? And this is fantastic. And we told them, of course, you can do that. And so I think it's something. So this is just a way of helping to build the future farmers or a new generation of Nigerian farmers.
That's a really good point. So, is there a connection between Springboard to the idea you have with the 1 Million Leaders Africa program we talked about in the beginning?
Yeah, there's a connection. So if you look at OMLA is trying to raise leaders for Africa, then who will help to change that trajectory of this continent. And if you look at Springboard is trying to also help to solve a problem that also has to do with food security and unemployment, okay, rural urban migration and the like. So Springboard is also trying to raise leaders in the field of agriculture. Okay, so but all of this come together because of a change that happened in my life in 2007, in 2006. I, I actually studied business management in the university, and I remember it was 2003 I gained admission to study in the university. And my whole idea was to actually graduate from the university and then get a well-paid job that will help me cater for for my family. So I went with that energy, and then in my first year in the university, my results were very good. Second year, the result was very good. But third year, something happened, and I remember it was a Friday, and I can't forget that day, November 17, 2006, when my life changed, when the idea of making money working in the oil and gas or bank changed. And this change was actually instigated or triggered by the reports I read in the newspaper about the plight of over 30 million employed Nigerian youth. Okay, so the question was raised by the author of the article, and the author was the then Minister of Education at that time in 2006. And then she raised a question that what may happen to Nigeria between 2020 and 2030 if nothing was done to solve the situation. So it was written that by that period, Nigeria, my dear country, would have over 20 million highly skilled, not lawyers, not farmers, not doctors, not engineers, not entrepreneurs, but highly skilled criminals that could devour the entire country. So I felt really sad and concerned after reading that report. And immediately I actually felt maybe someday I might become a victim of what this report says. Imagine me working in the oil and gas, and then I have a very good car, I have a family, and I'm driving through the street of Nigeria that has over 20 million highly skilled criminals. So what becomes of my life? My car could be snatched.
Yeah.
You understand? Anything could happen
Hmm.
in the midst of criminals. So you are not successful. That's what came to me then. If you are driving in the midst of highly skilled criminals, you can only be successful if you can help to channel the energy of these would-be criminals to become entrepreneurs. Okay, so that's my perspective changed. And then my perspective shifted from actually living for myself to finding a way to help solve to help the situation and also become self-employed in the process. So after graduating from the university in 2007, I returned to my hometown, Akure, and Akure is a very low income community in southwest of Nigeria, and that's where I am now. That's where the headquarters of Springboard and of OMLA is located. So it was actually a huge shock for my parents, relatives, and friends to see me returning to my home. And then because they expected that I would remain in the city, I went to school in Lagos, it's the biggest city, and then where you can get jobs. So they expected me to remain in that city and get a good job. So, and also thinking of the investment my parents had on me, they felt disappointed. They were really, 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 really disappointed that I should please consider going back to get a job in Lagos or any other city. But I told them that, Dad, Mom, please, I appealed to them that, please, I would like to do something different with my life by empowering unemployed young people.
Are
And
they happy now?
my parents were not. Now they are happy, but at that time they were not happy. They felt really so because they were frustrated. I went back to Lagos. I got a job, a very good job. I was given a car. I was given a house, but I didn't last on the job. One night I packed my things and I came back. And the interesting thing is that in Nigeria or have any maybe some communities here, you when you are not following the path that your parents has created for you, because your parents they are the elderly ones, they will know which path you should follow that will lead to success. So when you are not following that path, they will think you are being bewitched, that there's
Oh
that
God.
there's a witch or a wizard that is trying to reorchestrate your destiny and do not want you to become successful. So people in Nigeria are suspicious when things are not going as expected. So they believe that there is a spiritual force that can influence own destiny. But I didn't stay long in Lagos. I came back because that dream of over 20 million highly skilled criminals kept coming back to me. And I felt that destiny was calling me to actually do something about it. So I went back to Akure. I didn't know what to do, where and how could I start. I kept asking myself. I was jobless as a graduate
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
who's not, of course, if you are staying in Akure as a graduate, because most of all my friends that we went to Lagos to study together from Akure all stayed back in the cities. I came back, they were laughing at me. What are you going to do in Akure? But I didn't know. I was jobless. I wanted to do something that would actually give jobs to unemployed young people in my town. Then I wanted to have a meaningful occupation for myself. So I tried several things that failed. For example, I started writing books and selling books to schools. I'll give some books to some young people in my church to sell, but it was not really effective. I didn't. It was not helping to transform these young people into some kind of. It was not helping them to build entrepreneurial skills. So, but I didn't want to give up. So in late 2008, I had an idea to start a farm where we would cultivate. And my parents are farmers, so I remember when they were taking us, myself and my siblings, to the farm when we were young. And then I loved that opportunity. So I remember in 2008, then that idea came back to me that wow, I could actually use this to employ young people and then to train them. So I shared the idea with some young people in my church, and 5 of them showed interest, and they invited 9 of them. And so one of a farmer in town who was interested in the idea lent us 7 plots of farmland to at free cost. So we named the project that time the Youth Farm Project. That was the initial name for Springboard. So it was a youth farm project. So every Friday and Saturday, I would take these young people to the farm. We began to cultivate the land by planting corn, maize. Okay, and in the process, I realized that there's a relationship between entrepreneurship and farming. So, but that's a long story now. So then from corn, by the time we are selling, we'll sell the corn. Then I will share the money amongst these young people, and then I will return part of the money into the project. Gradually, we were growing. In 2010, we introduced plantain cultivation. That's the local banana in Nigeria,
Yeah.
a very good one too. So in 2012, I think between 2010 and 2012, one or two newspapers came to write an article about the project, and gradually the story began to spread. And
Okay.
so linking this with OMLA, I think my passion to help raise entrepreneurs and leaders for Nigeria and Africa attracted opportunities that birthed OMLA today. And so OMLA and Springboard, I think they have the same vision to help empower African youth. So the tools may be different. The tools that OMLA will use may be different from the tool that Springboard is
Yes, of
using.
course.
But OMLA is bringing on board bigger opportunity to pursue this vision on a very large scale. And Springboard is just localizing it to Nigerian environment. But OMLA is really doing it on the continent. So that's the relationship between OMLA and Springboard.
The idea with OMLA, you say it, I think, really nicely now, is to explore ways African youth can collaborate to take sustainable action towards transforming the continent. Are there some concrete ideas already?
Yes, of course, there are concrete ideas. We are looking at partner with a number of organizations, for example, African Leadership University, and then we're also looking at a partner with an institute in India called Kantari. Kantari is a social entrepreneurship institute that develops entrepreneurs across the world, and they have most of their graduates in Africa. So we are looking at maybe Kantari hosting our boot camp, training the fellows, or African Leadership University training the fellow. Kantari has a very vibrant and exciting curriculum that they use currently. So, and I don't think we need anything outside of that, okay? But currently, OMLA is also building a curriculum, yes, because believe me, the Kantari curriculum is all encompassing. It has everything that can transform. Kantari curriculum transformed my life, okay, in 2012. So it can transform any young people on the continent, especially if you are passionate about making a change happen in your community and you need the required tools. Kantari is the best place. So we are thinking if we should take our fellows to Kantari, and then they catch that Kantari fire, and then they come back to the continent and begin to jump just the way I am jumping today, and many other Kantari graduates are jumping in their communities today. So the basic idea now is do the with the OMLA fellowship program, train the fellows, and then they go back to their communities and start their own small project, and then use their own project to also influence, train stars and starlets, and then make change happen.
Sounds like a really good idea. That's a good point. What expectations do you have from OMLA?
Well, the main expectation is it's not really an expectation, but a future that I want to see for Africa. I want to see a time where Africa is happy, not Africans, but Africa. Africa, the mother Africa is happy. Because currently Africa is not happy. Africa is sad. Africa is sad, very sad. And Africa is telling Africans that, hey guys, you can make me happy. You can do much more than this. You can become prosperous. You can become great. You can become green again. You can stand up and roar. You are a lion. You can stand up and roar. So that's the kind of destiny we want to achieve. That's the place we want to get to. So Africa is nudging Africans. Africa is patting us on the shoulder and telling us, please rise up and run, rise up and move, rise up and act. You can become green. You can roar like an African lion. So this is what Africa is telling us. And I don't want to disappoint this nudging. Okay, I'm not going to be the one to transform Africa, but I want to be part of those that will push for the transformation of this continent. Young Africans are the ones that will change this continent. We have the energy, we have the skills, we have the wherewithal, we just need the tools. Okay, and that's what OMLA is about to give.
Thanks, Lawrence. I think this is a really great plan.
Thank you.
So today we talk about two projects Lauren Afere is pursuing. The major goal of Springboard are to support small-scale farmers to grow themselves out of poverty and hunger, as well as boosting global food security. Since 2008, Springboard has been working with rural farmers, women and youth to help turn their farms into profitable and sustainable enterprises in over 20 communities in Nigeria. Lawrence and his team are always looking for donations, ideas and suggestions that will help them to improve the result of their work. In case you have any ideas, suggestions, or if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact them at springboarding.com. OMLA, on the other hand, is trying to save Africa's future and ensure there will be enough brains in charge to cope with the challenges to come. Please make yourself an idea, visit, support and share it at 1millionleadersafrica.org. Next week, in the podcast To Restore Your Faith in Humanity, I'm going to talk with Cantari alumni Tiffany Brar, an accessibility trainer, social activist and a motivational speaker. She started a mobile blind school where she traveled across Kerala in search of blind people with the aim of transforming them from liabilities to assets. You'll find the stories of people sticking their necks out every Tuesday on Spotify, iTunes, our homepage and every other place where you get your podcast. And if you subscribe, you don't have to look out for us, we'll be coming to you. Tell us about your frontline hero. Come and visit us at giraffe-heroes.eu. And also have a look at our social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. My name is Jean-Pierre Aguiar Durañona and I say goodbye today and really hope you join us and get to spend a bit of your time with us again next week.
Stick Your Neck Out, the weekly podcast of the Giraffe Heroes Foundation.